Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yatkripatamaham vande paramananda madhavam paramananda madhavam. We'll read the verses we covered last time. Verses 7, 8 and 9. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpadau visrajamyaham prakritim swamavashtabhya visrajami punah punaha Bhutagramamimam kritsnam avasham prakritervashat nacha mam tani karmani nibadhnanti dhananjaya udasinavatasinam asaktam teshu karmasu. Okay, so what we saw last time was Shri Krishna was trying to explain this whole theory of creation. How do we see things? How do we experience things? Because he said 4 statements. These 4 statements are the most important in the chapter. He said, first, by me all things are pervaded. By me all things are pervaded. Then he said, statement number 2, they are in me, matstani sarva bhutani, nachaham teshu avastitaha, but I am not in them. So, statement 2, they are in me. Statement 3, I am not in them. And then statement 4, nacha matstani bhutani, they are also not in me. So these 4 statements he gave us. And I explained that at length last class. So based on these 4 statements where he says the whole world is pervaded by me, they are in me, but I am not in them, and they are also not in me. How do we see this world then if you're saying this? If you're saying that only you exist. For example, gold pervades all of the ornaments, and all of the ornaments exist in gold, but gold is not at all affected by any of what happens to the ornaments, any breaking, chopping, shredding of the ornaments. And in reality, gold alone is. So he's trying to explain that this whole srishti, which is actually what we call a manifestation, is none other than himself. There's no other thing. And how he explained that is through sankalpa. So in verse number 7, we saw these words kalpakshaye and kalpadau. That kalpa, as I explained, comes from sankalpa. And sankalpa here does not mean like puja sankalpa, like we take a resolve. Sankalpa here means imagination, projection. So from himself, he projects the entire world. And then from into himself, he withdraws the world. Just like child's play. Child's play, we go and we create a nice Lego house, a kitchen, a room. We create very nice quarters. But at the same time, we also destroy that whole Lego set. So we create and then we destroy. In the same way, through his sankalpa, he manifests this world and he withdraws it. Why? There's no material cause different from him. It's not like the potter getting the clay and making a pot. It's not like that. He is the potter and he is the clay. So he doesn't need any action. He doesn't need to make anything out of a different material. He is making from himself. And so this world goes on and on and on due to prakriti, due to his prakriti, his power, his maya. Again and again, it's a cycle. It goes on, and helplessly we are pushed into it by our own vasanas. So someone might ask, Bhagavan, why can't you create a better world? What's his reply? His reply is, you gave me the blueprint. This is all based on everybody's vasanas. This is not based on what Bhagwan wants or wills, or, he has no partiality or favoritism. He says, you gave me the blueprint, and it's automatic. It's an automatic process. The way the world is working is because we have submitted our blueprints. And it's just going on and on and on and on. So there's nobody to blame. The only thing we can do is accept. And helplessly, we are pushed into this. Helplessly. So the question comes, my goodness, Bhagwan, aren't you tired? Aren't you exhausted from all of this? Because if somebody keeps creating and withdrawing and creating and withdrawing, they get so tired. But what about you? He says, Udasinavat asinam. I am the non-doer. So I am sitting apart from it. I'm sitting high, meaning I'm not affected by it at all. So last week I gave you the example of a game, a nice game, a nice football game. You can be the player in the game with your heart racing and your blood pressure rising and your sweats coming out and exhaustion happening. You can be the player or you can be the audience, just watching. And a very special kind of audience, the audience who roots for both teams, who votes for both teams. So you could be the equipoise audience, impartial audience, or you can be the player in the game. So Bhagwan's role is, he's the audience. And essentially, we are that same consciousness also. So in life, we have a choice where to sit. Either we're sitting as a player, playing the game and going crazy, or we're sitting as the audience, just relaxing and enjoying. So he doesn't get bound by anything. So similarly, the one who has no doership and no enjoyership in action never gets bound. The minute that I have this strong sense that I am doing this, I did this, it was me, bondage is coming. Wait for it, it's coming. The moment I feel that I'm the enjoyer and I want this particular result and I hope I get this, wait for it. Bondage is coming. It's just a matter of time. So along with doership and enjoyership, there is a crash that will happen. Wait for it. The crash will happen. So now further, he's going to explain to us about his Maya. This is now verse number 10. Okay, this is where we are. What is this strange relationship between the infinite and the finite? How does it actually work? How does all of this, bringing forth the world and withdrawing it, how does this actually work? Mayadhyakshena prakritihi.
Mayadhyakshena prakritihi.
Suyate sacharacharam.
Suyate sacharacharam.
Hetunanena kaunteya.
Hetunanena kaunteya.
Jagadviparivartate.
Jagadviparivartate.
Mayadhyakshena prakritihi. Suyate sacharacharam. Hetunanena kaunteya. Jagadviparivartate. So he says here, Maya, by me, adhyakshena. Adhyaksha means like a superior, like a supervisor rather. So I am the supervisor. So by me, who is the supervisor of Maya, prakriti here is Maya, suyate, it produces, it brings forth. Sachara acharam, the moving and the unmoving. Hetuna anena, by this cause, O Kaunteya, O Kunti son, Jagat, the world, viparivartate, it revolves. Under me as her supervisor, prakriti or nature produces the moving and unmoving. Because of this, O Kaunteya, the world revolves. So here, a very nice commentary is there by Adi Shankaracharya ji. We will see bits of it. He says that Maya, me, means I am the one who is Drishi Matra. I am not the seer, I am not the seen, I am just seeing. I am seeing, meaning whenever there's a seer, there's a scene. I am seeing, I'm the seer, and the book is the scene, correct? So whenever there's a seer, there's a scene. But here, the seer and scene are the same thing. It's Bhagwan who is the source of creation, but it's also Bhagwan who is manifesting as creation. So there's no difference between the seer and seen, because Bhagwan is the one manifesting himself. So there's only seeing. Maya, there's only pure consciousness, pure being. That's it. Pure seeing, pure being, pure consciousness by me. By me. By me, due to my presence, what happens? Prakriti suyate. That prakriti, or what we also call as Maya, delivers. So by my supervision, Maya delivers. Why is he saying this? Because many theories are there of how creation has come. So some people feel like it has come from atoms, from particles. Some people feel like it's from energy. Some people feel it's space-time. In all of these things, what they're trying to say, it comes from an inert substance. It comes from particles. It comes from atoms. It comes from energy. All of these things are inert. And to make it very clear that inert does not function without consciousness, he brings this verse in. Because we know that in creation, one thing is very sure, we have seen also, that there's a system, there's an order of how things are arranged. The atoms, particles, they move in a certain way. Energy flows in a certain way. So there is order. It is not out of order, haphazard. So when there is order, that means that there is power. Because without somebody making the order, there will be no order. When the boss is there at work, everybody is actually working. When boss is not there, everybody is pretending to work. Nobody's really working, correct? So when there is order, there is power for sure. And whenever there is power, there is sentiency behind it. There's consciousness behind it. There's no inert power. When there's power, there's sentiency, there's consciousness behind it. So therefore, the source of the world has to be conscious. Just by this reasoning. There's so much order. If you look at how the universe functions, that the sun is in the center, the planets are revolving around the sun, that order needs power, and that power needs sentiency, consciousness. Now, how does that consciousness work? Well, the answer is it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Just in its mere presence, everything gets enlivened. The great example that we can think of is the sun. How does everything move? Everything in this world, be it non-moving or moving, we all move because of the sun. How does a computer move? A computer is non-moving, but when somebody lifts it up, it's moving, right? But how is somebody lifting it up? Because that person has energy, that person has food, has energy. Where do they get it from? They get it from the sun, right? So something which is not moving, like a computer, can move. Something which is sentient is getting its energy from where? The sun, but nobody's touching the sun. Just in the mere presence of the sun, everything is just happening. Just the sun is just there and everything is happening. So like that, when we say, or when Bhagwan Shri Krishna says, Maya Adhyakshena, under my supervision, meaning he's just standing as witness to it. That's it. He's just pure being, pure consciousness. He's just there. And in his presence, prakriti, the whole source of this whole energy, it just gets vitalized. It moves. And from that womb of prakriti comes all the moving and the non-moving. So this is how this whole world is coming about. This is how this whole world is coming about. And again, whenever we want to understand the macrocosm, always come back to the microcosm. Think about how your day and your night is coming about. In you, that pure awareness, the waker shines forth in the waking world. And then in you, that awareness, the dreamer happens, the dreaming happens, and the deep sleeper resolves back. And there's only blankness. So that Atman is not doing anything, but all of it is happening in the presence of Atman. It's happening in the presence of a conscious entity. So, therefore, here he says, by me, this whole world is brought forth. He is the origin. Now, in the example of the sun, sun's presence and us being enlivened, you envision some kind of separation. So this is the sun and this is us. But in terms of Brahman, it's not like that at all. It's just Brahman appearing as Brahman. It is just one. So Brahman, from the standpoint of matter, that very same Brahman is called as prakriti. But from the standpoint of pure consciousness, it is Brahman. It's just one. It's not like the sun where there's distance. It's just one. And that is why in our Puranic literature, how this is shown is through the dance of Bhagwan. We see like Sri Krishna's Ras Leela. What is Sri Krishna's Ras Leela saying? That Sri Krishna is consciousness in the middle and all the gopis are dancing. They are the thoughts, they are prakriti. So he is there, steady, still, and the whole world. And so they make a circle, Ras Leela, they make a circle, right? That is Jagat Viparivartate. The whole world is moving in the presence of Sri Krishna, the non-doer. And the source of that prakriti is none other than Radharani. So that's why you will see them play the Ras Leela. Or you'll see it as Bhagavan Shiva's Tandava. That he is, when he wants creation to happen, what does he do? He appears as Prakriti, he dances. He dances like anything and the whole creation starts. And when he wants destruction also, he dances again. So there's a dance for creation and there's a dance for destruction. And after all of that, he sits still as he is. So these stories are to illustrate this very idea. In terms of Devi, they'll say when she opens her eyes, the whole creation happens. And when she blinks, it's destroyed. So these beautiful ways that they portray it is just saying this truth. We have to go into the depth of our Puranas to really understand this. So now here, Bhagavan is making us dance and he's also dancing. Because there's only one. There's only one. He's making us dance, but he's also the one dancing. Hetuna anena. So by this cause, because of this whole movement of Prakriti, Jagad Viparivartate. The whole world revolves. The whole world revolves. Now remember here that world is not always revolving. To one in Samadhi, the world is absolutely still. In fact, there's no world at all. But only to the mind that is active, then the world is moving. So it appears that the world is moving, but actually there's a deep stillness behind it. A deep stillness. It's like when you're sitting on the train. You are moving, but you think all the trees are moving. Isn't it? You're sitting on the train, you're moving, but you think all the trees are moving. You're sitting on the boat, you're moving, but you think the trees are moving. The same way, we're sitting here, our mind is moving. And that's why creation appears to be moving. It's because our mind is moving. You look behind that, and it's absolutely still. Jagat Viparivartate means that thus Jagat appears different. Yatra parivartanam nasti, tatra parivartanam pratiyate. Where there's actually no movement, movement is seen. Where there is actually no revolution, a revolution is seen. Where there's actually no change, change is seen. It's appearing. What's happening here, you see, it depends on where your mind is. If you take, for example, gold. Gold is there in the beginning, yes? And let us say we make ornaments. We make a bracelet and a ring and an earring. And when we make these ornaments, let's say you make first one bracelet. You make first one bracelet. Now the weight of the gold and bracelet is same, correct? Not different, right? So bracelet is nothing but gold. Now you break the bracelet and you make a ring. The weight of the ring and gold is the same? Yes. The bracelet got broken, but did the gold break? You break that ring and make 2 earrings. Did the gold break? So what's happening here is every time we appear to break the gold from a bracelet to a ring to an earring, it's changing. The name and form are changing. But the gold is just gold. It's changeless. Nothing's happening to it. So all of these changeless, like birth, death, sickness, old age, decay, who is that happening to? It's happening to name and form. It's not happening to gold. Any change, sadness, joy, tiredness, calmness, any change is happening to name and form. This is the revolution. But actually, to that substance, to that gold, nothing is happening. There's no change. There's absolutely no change. So this world is only appearing to revolve in that pure consciousness on which it is revolving. There's absolutely no change. It's changeless. So now the choice is yours. Do we remain as gold, or do we identify with the bracelet? You choose. You want to be the bracelet, or you want to be or remain, you already are, as gold. So every time a trying situation comes, just think. We should think to ourselves, do I want to remain as gold, or do I want to become that bracelet, to be broken into a ring, to be broken into an earring, to be melted again and again? It's just a shift. Okay? Now, Bhagavan Krishna is going to say, the self is this. This is me. This is my essential reality. But there's a problem here. There are people who disregard me as pure consciousness, and they envision me as being limited in a form. Sadly, this is what's happening. This now is being described in verse number 11. Avajananti mam mudhaha
अवजानन्ति मां मूढाः
manushim tanumashritam
मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितम्
param bhavamajanantah
परं भावमजानन्तः
mama bhutamaheshwaram
मम भूतमहेश्वरम्
avajananti mam mudhaha manushim tanumashritam param bhavamajanantah Mama bhuta maheshwaram. So now you see Sri Krishna is there in front of Arjuna. And he's telling Arjuna, avajananti mam mudhaha. Mudhaha means these fools. What happens with these fools? Avajananti. They disregard me. Mam, me. They disregard me. They don't know me. Manushim tanum ashritam. Because I am here, refuged. I am staying in tanum, a form of a human. Manushim. Param bhavam, my higher nature, param bhavam, ajanantaha, they not knowing me, mama bhuta maheshwaram, me or my nature as the great Lord of all beings. So fools disregard me when I dwell in this human form. They know not my higher being as the great Lord of all beings. So Arjuna, Sri Krishna is saying, I'm standing in front of you and in this body. And fools think that I'm limited to this body. And they don't know my higher nature, that I am the Lord of all beings. And essentially, I am pure consciousness. So what happens here is, we get stuck to worshipping the form. We get stuck to worshipping the form. It is like, now we just had Republic Day, Republic Day of Bharat. Imagine if we get stuck on worshipping the flag instead of worshipping the country. Okay, let me do puja to the flag, let me take care of the flag, but I'm not going to serve my country. Imagine if our parent, our mother or father came to see us and we are worshipping their picture instead of greeting them. We are worshipping their picture, doing puja to their picture and not greeting them. This is how it is when we worship Sri Krishna in one body and disregarding that he is that all-pervading reality. See, in the beginning, what happened is the worship of a form was introduced to us because of necessity. And in the earlier stages of seeking, this is very important. I had shared this in our Upadesha Sara class just this past weekend, where somebody asked Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi Ji, does God have a form or is God formless? And what did he say? Do you have a form or are you formless? Because if we have a form, then better worship Bhagwan with a form. If we think we are formless, then worship Bhagwan as formless. The idea here is we are so stuck up in our body identification. We're so identified with this body, with this structure. We feel like, oh no, I should be fatter or thinner, I should be taller or shorter, I should be fairer or darker. Whole time we are so obsessed with our body. And every day we spend so much time beautifying ourselves, glorifying the body, figuring what to eat, what grocery to buy, what comforter to buy, what clothes to wear. So much time goes in the worship of the body. And as long as we are in this Dehatmavadi clan, worshipping our body, forget worshipping Bhagwan as formless. We won't get there. So in the beginning, our rishis said, get out of your body and keep a form in front of you. Keep a form. And instead of looking at yourself, adharam madhuram, nayanam madhuram, look at Bhagavan in front of you and say, how beautiful is his face, how beautiful are his eyes. Put Devi in front of you, how beautiful is her figure, how beautiful is her hair. Put her in front of you and stop worshipping ourselves. So this step of worshipping a form is necessary in the beginning. But we should not stop there. This is what Sri Krishna is saying, that worship that in the beginning. It's fine because we have to get out of this body identification. But after that, know that I am beyond the body. I'm beyond it. What happens is, see, when we get caught up in worshipping just a form, we do not progress as seekers. We keep all of these differences. Let us say I get caught up in worshipping a form of Saraswati Devi. Vasanta Panchami is coming up. So let us say I am caught up in worshipping her form. Then what happens? I think her form is better than all the other forms. And I tell everybody, you should worship Saraswati Devi. She's the greatest. She's the best of all. And only worship her. But then I become very close-minded. There's like an Ishvara Bedha. That this form is better than that form. And I go on and confuse everybody also. So I create these differences. Another thing I create is that this Saraswati Devi, she is goddess. And only she is goddess, everybody else is not God, not goddess. Everybody else is just a form, a murti, a person. And I also am a person. Then what happens? We become so good at doing puja, so good at doing our prayers. But the minute we step out of the puja room, we're a riot. We yell, we scream and everything because we're not seeing Saraswati Ma in every being. So our families will say, if this is what spirituality does to you, don't be spiritual anymore. Stop praying. You're creating more chaos. So we must see Saraswati Ma in the Murti, but also in every single being. We're very good at worshipping Bhagwan as a form. But when it comes to building a relationship with our family and trying to see God, Goddess in them, we fail miserably. And then we limit ourselves saying that Saraswati Ma is in this form and the world is different from her. She is in this form and the world is different from her. Then what do? I treat the world as a place for my enjoyment. I use everything for my consumption, for my joy, for my pleasure, because the world is made for me. Why not? That's a completely wrong mentality. Saraswati Mata is also appearing as this world. She is this world. Every book is Saraswati, every word is Saraswati, every desk is Saraswati, everything is Saraswati. And that's why the world is called Bhumi Mata. That's why our rishis call her Mata. To tell us that, hey, this is a living expression of Goddess. She's not there for your enjoyment. She's there to sustain us for our spiritual quest. So the minute I limit my worship to a single form, I create all of these differences. I create superiority or inferiority of different forms of worship. I create difference that Bhagavan, Bhagavati is only in this form and not in every single being. And I create the difference that Bhagavan, Bhagavati is in this form and not in this world. And therefore I live with this idea of duality. And as a worshipper who's worshipping that form, I also go through ups and downs. When will I be one with Bhagavan? When will I be one with Bhagavati? When will that day come? But in Vedanta, very simple question we ask is, how far is the pot from clay? It is clay. Wake up. So, these differences come in a limited worship. Furthermore, when I am restricting myself to a limited form, just see this. I am the seer and the form becomes the seen. I am the seer and the form becomes the seen. So the seen is always dependent on the seer. So who is superior now? I am. Because I am the seer and the form is the seen. So I become superior to Bhagwan. If we worship limited to a form, form is also subject to destruction. Because it's limited. It's born, it will also decay. That wooden form, that metal form, that marble form, it's also subject to destruction. So a fool, a mudha, is one who limits their worship to a form. We have to slowly see the formless even in the form. And nobody is telling us don't keep a murti. Huh? The beauty of Sanatana Dharma is we have so many temples and so many murtis. Embrace that murti, worship that murti. But in that murti or form, see that which is a murti. See that formless reality. See it. Like in the Indian flag, we salute it. But when we salute it, we salute Bharat. We don't salute a cloth. When we FaceTime with our parents or relatives, we're not FaceTiming with that image. It's with that whole being of our mother or our father. So when we pray to that murti, we pray to that reality pervading this entire world. So this mudha thinks that Shri Krishna is limited to this body. And they don't know Parambhava, the higher nature, which is that formless reality. Bhuta Maheshwaram, Ishwara, Maheshwara, the great Lord of Bhuta, of all beings. This is who Bhagwan really is. Right? Now, they don't stop here. How do those people who are fools, how do they worship Bhagwan in a limited way? How do they run their lives? What do they do? So, more description on being foolish, Sri Krishna is giving us. Verse number 12. Moghasha mogha karmanaha
मोघाशामोघकर्माणः
mogha jnana vicetasaha
मोघज्ञानाविचेतसः
rakshasima chaiva
राक्षसीमासुरीं चैव
prakritim mohinim shritaha
प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रिताः
मोघाशा मोघकर्माणः मोघज्ञानाविचेतसः राक्षसीम् आसुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रिताः. So he says here, how are these people, why are they like that? What do they do? Moghasha means they are of vain hopes. Mogha means false, vain. Mogha karmanaha, they are of vain actions. Mogha jnana, of vain knowledge. Vichetasaha, they are senseless. Rakshasim, Gurudev says devilish. Asurim, undivine. Cha eva, so they are Rakshasi and Asuri. They are both these verily. Prakritim, mohinim, they are Shritaha. They are Shritaha, possessed of mohinim, delusive prakriti, nature. So of vain hopes, of vain actions, of vain knowledge, and senseless, they verily are possessed of the delusive nature of the Rakshasas and Asuras. So now here, how do we look at this? See, Moghasha means people who have vain or false hopes. What is a false hope? A false hope is a hope for something there which is not there. I'm hoping for something there which is not there. Like I'm hoping for sugar to be salty. Not going to happen. Correct? Now I am hoping for the world to give me happiness. Not going to happen. Right? I am hoping that this object, when I get this object, I will be happy like anything. When I am with this person, I will be happy like anything. When I have this circumstance, I will be happy like anything. Question is, for how long? We cannot be permanently happy with the objects, with the beings, with the circumstances outside, because they'll keep changing. So for me to say that if and when I get this, then I will be very happy, that is a false hope. It will not happen. What we're doing here is that we are wasting time seeking outside when we should be really seeking inside. Seek where it is, not where it's not. A false hope that money will make me very secure. If I make so much money, I'll be very secure. Guess what happened? The stock market plunges, boom. Because somebody has a new AI bot, right? So it will boom, it will again plunge. Then, where is the security? It's not going to last. In COVID times, we had so many dreams, trips, travels. One virus came. Everyone's hopes were shattered. In one go, the whole world. So to depend on something else or someone else to give me security, to give me joy, to give me happiness, this is essentially attachment. This is a false hope. This is a false hope. On top of that false hope, mogha karma, we go on false action, means to cultivate that false hope. Because I feel that if I get this object, I'll be happy. So all my actions are geared towards getting that object. All my actions. And so what are we doing every day? Run, 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 run. Run, run, run to get that thing to make me happy. Run, run, run to be with that person to make me happy. Run, run, run for that circumstance to make me happy. And all the time we're running. Like Sugriva. He's always running. Every day we are running. Not even walking, we are running. And that's why it's called rat race. And Guruji says very beautifully, you can run in the rat race, but if you finish, you'll still be a rat. So all the best. You keep running. You'll still be a rat. So we are running, 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 running in this race to fulfill all of our false hopes. To put forth effort to get or to satisfy all of our false hopes. But we never get fulfilled. We never get fulfilled. We just get tired. We just get tired. We don't get fulfilled, we get tired. And that's why everybody has stress. Everybody has stress because of these false hopes. That's all. On top of that, moga jnana. I am studying so much to know how to get my false hope, which will not make me happy. I am studying so much. I'm spending so much time gaining knowledge. Let us say I am gaining knowledge to be the top one actress. Let us say I am studying so much. I'm watching so many videos. I'm watching so many actors and actresses. And then on top of that, I'm going to so many shows. I'm observing so many things because I believe that if I become that, I will be so happy. But right after I get there, I realize this is not what I wanted. So all that effort wasted because we're studying how to act to pursue a false hope, which when we get, we will be completely saddened anyway, unfulfilled. And therefore, why go through all of that? It's just a cycle. And why are we doing this? Why are we privy to this? Vichetasaha. Because we're not thinking. Vichetas, we're not thinking properly. Okay, the first thing that we should think about when this superimposition of joy comes, I want to get this because this will make me happy. Stop. Really? Will it make me happy? There itself, stop and think. The only things we should be doing is what Bhagwan guides us to do. That's it. Just whatever Bhagwan guides us to do, we do. But because we're not thinking, we get stuck. It's stuck up. Now, it doesn't end here. You would think this is so bad. This is such a bad state. We become even worse. Rakshasim asurim. We become like a Rakshasa in Asura, meaning we also disturb others and bother others. When we don't get what we want and we're not fulfilled, we call our friend, we call people and we complain and we're so sad and we're so depressed and we make other people's life miserable. As if it's not enough that we're miserable, we make other people miserable. So Rakshasa here is somebody who has tamo guna pradhana, who has tamasic intentions. That I didn't get it, I'm miserable, therefore everybody else should be miserable right now because I'm miserable. Asura is the one who is rajasic pradhana, who has so much rajas. So I am miserable and nobody should become happy. So I'm going to engage in such competition to keep everybody down. I'm going to engage in competing helplessly. So much passion there. So we get everybody else crazy. So not only we become crazy, everybody becomes crazy. And all because Shritaha, we are possessed of this prakriti, deluded by it. We are possessed by this delusive prakriti. We're possessed by it. So this is what happens to us. Everybody drives everybody crazy, and this is how the world constantly revolves. This is why we're seeing all war, crime, all this theft, all of these things that we're seeing is because of this verse only. Our false hopes. Our false hopes. We will stop with this verse today. There's a beautiful verse after it that don't worry, Arjuna. Shri Krishna says, don't worry, Arjuna, you don't belong in this category. That's why I did not use your name. You belong in the next category, which is of a Mahatma. That is who you are, Arjuna, in your true nature. So what that Mahatma is, we will see next class. Don't lose hope. There is something better. There is a Mahatma, right? Okay. So now I will just summarize what we've seen. So today we saw that how Bhagwan actually makes this world happen. He doesn't. He doesn't. Right? It's very beautiful in the commentary. It says, Kim nimitta iyam srishtihi. Means, what for is this world? You cannot ask that question. Why was the world created? You cannot ask that question. Because it is only Bhagwan. There's no separate world as such. It is just Bhagwan in his presence appearing as Bhagwan. Bhagwan appearing as Bhagwan. He's making everybody dance, and he's also the dancer. He's also dancing. He's making everyone dance. He's also dancing. It is Bhagwan appearing as Bhagwan. That's all it is. You can call it whatever you want, but in reality, that's what it is. And that's how everything is moving. And by the way, it only appears to be moving. For the one who's focused on that who's changeless, it's not moving. For the one who's focused on gold, it's changeless. The one who's focused on the bracelet, it's changing a lot. So our choice is to remain as gold or be the bracelet. So Bhagwan says, my glory is this much, but some fools, they just limit me to one form. And when they do that, they create so many differences between other forms of worship, between other people, and even between the world. And they keep me stuck in this limitation. And how are they? They are people of false hopes, false action, false knowledge. And they go through this world in a rat race. And if that's not enough, they behave like Rakshasas and Asuras. They drive everybody else crazy, being deluded by prakriti. But Arjuna, don't worry, because I know in your heart you are a Mahatma. And I will tell you the glory of a Mahatma next time. Okay? So let us stop here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.